We're rocking here with Kenrick at Orca.
Hello, hello.
The Vermont community cable TV station with the coolest acronym. The coolest name.
Hello, Orca Media, coming in.
Cool. Awesome.
I had nothing. Now I have it.
Good. We love it when a plan comes together. When did you get back on
Friday.
Friday?
Yeah, flights were all smooth. No tripping, actually.
Good. Where'd you fly?
Continental on the way back, which was better than US Air.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, Vermont. My name is Rob Williams, and I'm the editor and publisher of Vermont Commons Voices of Independence News Journal. I'm here with Washington County Senate candidate Gaelan Brown of Facein to ask him some questions about his candidacy for the election coming up on November 2nd, 2010. Good to see you, Gaelan.
That's well.
Yeah. Gaelan, can you tell us a little bit first about your background as a Vermonter?
Yeah, thank you. I'm a fourth-generation Vermonter. I've got roots in our agricultural community, and I've got a lot of background in entrepreneurial sales and marketing with large and small companies. I've also done a lot of grassroots activism for energy and sustainability issues, transition town groups, those types of networks, and I'm currently Vice President of Marketing for Grow Solar, a national leader in solar power that's headquartered in Vermont.
Nice. You're running for office as an independent. Can you tell us why an independent candidacy, and what are your priorities for Vermont if you're elected?
Sure. Yeah, I'm standing for office because I want to make Vermont a stronger, more self-sufficient state. And I believe that party politics are a big part of our problem because this keeps Vermont divided on a lot of our key issues, and I'm really working to build bridges between the left and the right. So running as an independent feels right to me, and I'm having a really interesting time with these debates and through this campaign to try to bring people together on what I think are the issues that we can actually agree on. My priorities are really to relocalize Vermont's economy, and that'll create a lot of jobs and economic resilience. And I also want to work to decentralize the government in Vermont, and that means moving power from Washington, D.C. and Montpelier over and down to the county and town level to make more decisions locally. And I think that it's obvious if you're paying attention to what's going on in the world that big centralized systems, whether it's a giant corporation or a giant bank or giant centralized government bureaucracies, these systems are all failing and, in a sense, bankrupting our society on many levels.
So, what specifically should Vermont do to relocalize our economy, and how will relocalization help us?
Yeah, I think there's really three key foundation areas in terms of relocalization, and these are food, fuel, and finance. Becoming more self-sufficient in terms of food and energy is going to create thousands of new jobs and give us a lot of long-term savings, as well as an economic foundation for more sustainable growth. For example, according to the research I've done with the Natural Resource Department of Vermont, Vermont could heat every house in the state with locally harvested wood using just 25% of the annual growth of our forest. So without depleting the forest at all, we could sustainably heat every home in the state, and every home would save around $2,000 a year if they switched from propane or fuel oil to wood. So there's kind of this is kind of a no-brainer thing that we should move toward in terms of state policy and how do we make that happen. This would keep $500 million in the local economy each year instead of importing all this fossil fuel. In terms of food, I think there's a lot of reasons that we want to relocalize and diversify our food. We need programs that help milk farmers move off of monocrop into diversified agriculture. This is going to actually give them a more diverse and healthy business, and ultimately will keep a lot of money in the state. If we can move to producing 50% of our own food, it will keep more than $1 billion in the local economy each year and create thousands of jobs. And then finance is probably the trickiest aspect. There's a lot of pain in the state and in the nation right now regarding banking and credit and finance, and One thing that Vermont can easily do is move our money out of Wall Street in terms of our state funds, our pension funds, all of the state revenue, and keep it in local Vermont banks and credit unions to give more access to strong credit locally. The other big thing that we need to focus on, and I think this should be a top priority, is for Vermont to create a state-owned bank, very similar to the state-owned Bank of North Dakota, which has existed for 90 years and is arguably the #1 reason that North Dakota hasn't seen a recession in the last 2 years. The way this would work is all the state revenues from the state budget and the pension fund money would be held in the state bank, and that would give the state a way to make loans out to other banks or even directly to businesses and individuals, loaning money against their reserves that are part of the state revenue. And this would open up credit access and give Vermont a lot of options in terms of insulating ourselves from the kind of banking meltdown that's been happening globally.
And there has been some testimony in the state legislature about the idea of a state bank, so it's nice to hear you talk about that. So you're running for the Washington County Senate seat, and there are 7 candidates. There are 3 Democrats, 3 Republicans, and you. So, given that it's a crowded field, what do you think distinguishes you as an independent candidate for Washington County State Senate from the other 6 candidates running for office?
Well, I really see myself as a person who's building bridges, and I agree and I respect all the other candidates, and I agree with a lot of them on a lot of what they're saying, but I also am aware of the places where they're both wrong, and the left-right partisan rhetoric is a big part of the problem, and a lot of these candidates have good ideas and good intentions, and they're great in terms of their motivation, but I think they're stuck in some of their party politics ruts. Some examples of that, I think it's important to point out that more government bureaucracy is not really a sustainable solution, and the Democrats have to realize that just putting more bureaucracy in place at the central government level isn't really going to solve our problems. Republicans need to realize that energy independence and relocalizing our economy are actually good things, and that these are points that we need to push forward. Some of the other places where I think all these candidates are wrong, or at least ignoring some of the issues, are one of the biggest obstacles to Vermont's sustainable economic prosperity in the future is really the cost that we're paying to support the U.S. military in our global efforts to police the world with 1,000 military bases, and the cost that Vermont shares is $1.5 billion a year to send troops around the world and to try to force democracy at the point of a gun. And I don't think it's working, and it's fiscally irresponsible to be spending $1.5 billion a year while we've got $100 or $150 million state budget shortfall, and we're slashing programs left and right to make up for an amount that is only 10% of that military cost. Some other kind of disturbing examples of this are it costs $600 to get 1 gallon of diesel fuel to the troops in Afghanistan. $600 a gallon. We've spent $1 million per year per U.S. soldier in these wars. And it's just, this is not sustainable. It's fiscally insane to continue to do this. With that $1.5 billion, Vermont could make 50,000 homes fully powered by solar energy, giving them 30 plus years of energy independence to nearly a quarter of our homes, just with 1 year's share of that.